Shabbat Shalom from Temple Concord. This week our Torah portion gets into all of the rules of the dietary laws, and that may seem sort of far afield for us today. After all, in the modern world, all the rules about cleanliness don't really apply, and as Reformed Jews, we don't quite feel as compelled to follow all the Jewish dietary laws that earlier generations may have observed. So the question is, why do we keep studying this? Why do we do this? And why were the laws there in the first place? And how does the Reform movement deal with all of this? Well, so let's look at all three of those pieces. First, the Reform movement looked around and said, this doesn't make sense to us anymore. We don't have the issues before of cleanliness. We can eat whatever we want. Then later generations of Reformed Jews came back and said, we're missing something by not sharing dietary rules. Let's at least follow the biblical rules of kashrut, which is to say no milk and meat together and no pork, no shellfish. And as time has gone on, synagogues have wrestled back and forth. And so at the temple today, our policy is just that. No pork, no shellfish, and no mixing milk and meat in the same dish. But if you want to make them together on your own, fine, go ahead. Why do we as Jews wrestle with this? I think the issue goes back to how do we interact with others? Do we hold ourselves separate or do we connect with others? And does it matter? And is sharing food, breaking bread together, an essential piece that we need to worry about religiously or not? And then the question is, so why do we keep studying this? And I think the answer to the studying is the answer to the previous question. When we see that our meals contain holiness, then what we're eating counts. And so it's not enough to read a label for nutrition, which I hope we're all doing, but also to think about how that food was produced. Was it produced ethically? Were the workers paid an appropriate salary and pay for what they did to produce this food? Was the animal treated in a good, clean, healthful way? And there are lots of variations on kashrut based on all of that. For me, keeping kosher personally at my home is a simple matter. I want my home to be welcome to all Jews. And so Melissa and I have made that choice, that our house is going to be kosher so that we can welcome any Jew at any time and they can have a meal with us. But the truth is, I think everybody's got to make their own choice. And so I think as Reformed Jews, it's important for us to study, it's important for us to wrestle with it and think about different options, and then to come to our own opinion based on what makes sense for us, knowing that our tradition and our history have a lot to teach us and a lot to guide us, but that those old issues may not still work for us today. I hope you'll join us for Shabbat services Friday evening. Services will be at 6 o'clock. Our fifth graders will be leading us, and our Shirat Shalom singers, our children's choir, will also be leading us. It should be a very spirited and fun service. I hope you can be there. And afterwards, we'll get to talk about food again. We have our Italian Shabbat dinner, and so we can manja and enjoy Shabbat together and with some red sauce and whatever else is on the menu. Make your reservations as soon as possible, if you can, to the temple office. Shabbat morning services are at 11, preceded, of course, by Torah study at 10. And Sunday is a full day with all the things going on at the religious school, the brotherhood, the sisterhood. Our fifth graders will be receiving their bar and bat mitzvah dates this week. So lots of excitement, lots of good things going on. For now, I think it's important to take some time to wrestle with the traditions of the past, to consider if the behaviors of the past are ones we want to continue now, or if we want to change, and if so, why? So that when it comes to questions of dietary rules, for example, wrestling with why does this matter or does it, so that the decisions that we make are based on not just some random idea, but on our own thinking and our own consideration of the legacy that we've inherited. I look forward to celebrating Shabbat with you. Can't wait to see you at the temple.